Okay, hello. So this is going to be fierce, I want to say stretching, but it's really, there's a lot of yoga in this, what I'm about to show you. This is a quick one. This is one that anybody should have enough time to do after they exercise. And you could also just use it as an exercise in itself. I'm going to be talking a lot during it about how I feel about stretching, and I use this flip phone as my stopwatch. So you're going to notice me handling it. So in case you're wondering, this is not my phone. This is a flip phone that has an amazing stopwatch, and I don't have to worry about using my normal phone to keep track of time. Okay, so the first thing that I do after any exercise is I do legs to the ceiling. Okay, so all I'm doing here is my legs are up. It's nothing extreme. I'm not trying to do anything. All I'm trying to do is keep my legs straight up and breathe. So I'm not pushing anything anywhere. I'm not, I might put my arms over my head to help me breathe more deeply or just stretch more, but there's not a serious amount of effort happening in the beginning of this. It's just because usually when I exercise, I'm doing something with my legs. It's usually not, I don't think I ever do solely an arm and abdominal workout. I don't think I've ever done that in my life. So I'm basically trying to get all the blood to rush out of my legs a little bit, just to give them some relief from all the pulsing of blood that's been going through them for the past hour or whatever it is. Okay, so this has been a little over a minute, so I'm just going to push my legs gently out to the side. Now you can do this in a couple of ways. You can either hold on to your heels and just gently, and nothing extreme. I'm just letting my knees fall out. You can even do it where you're pulling in your inner knee area down. So nothing extreme is happening here. I'm feeling that it's stretching, but I'm not pushing it too far. It's called riding the edge, so that you could actually feel it, but you're not doing anything too much so that you can injure yourself. Now normally I wouldn't be talking, and I would be taking deep breaths. I'm just going to bring my feet back up, and I'm going to sit up. Sit up however you want. This next pose is not a yoga pose at all, but it's something I've been doing for 35 years. And it's just definitely something that I use to stretch out. So my legs are spread apart comfortably. Again, it feels like I'm stretching them, but it doesn't feel like I'm stretching them too much. When you stretch too much, that's how you can hurt yourself, and especially after you exercise and your body is warm, you don't want to do anything extreme. This is you're caring for your body, right? You're giving your body it's almost like a self-massage that you're doing. And you're stretching out your muscles, and you're oxygenating the areas that you exercise, which often is your entire body, which is why these exercises are going to touch every part of your body. So the first thing I do here is I'm going to be going over to the right side. I bring my left arm up, and just very gently for 30 seconds, I'm going to pulse over to the right. Now, if I feel like it, I'll flex my right foot. If I want to bring this down more, to feel it more, that's great. But again, I'm not like pulling and trying to really do anything too extreme here. If I was not talking, I would be breathing in and focusing on the areas that I'm feeling the stretch to bring them oxygen and energy And on the out breath, I would be feeling those areas release and relax. So you're just basically sending good vibes to your entire body. You can think of it as a form of meditation when you stretch. Okay, now I'm just going to walk over to the other side. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And I didn't talk about what I did at the end there, so I'll talk about it now. So again, I'm just reaching over. You could put so that my right arm is now sweeping over towards my left leg. My left toe is pointing up to the ceiling. My left arm and hand could be wherever it's comfortable, either on the leg or behind the leg. If you put it in front of the leg, you're going to change a little bit too much where you're feeling the stretch. Where I want you to feel the stretch is back here. Okay, now what I just did is I pivoted at the 30-second point toward my left leg. So that brings the stretch more into my inner thigh on the left side and back right here. And again, I'm not worrying about how far I can get my face to my knee. Okay, and now I'm going back to the center, and I'm going to come up, and I'm going to do down dog, which I love. Does it feel so nice? Okay, so I can't move that. Okay. So when you're in down dog, you're pushing your arms straight. You're pushing your butt to the ceiling. Your legs are straight. And you can make this as extreme as you want without forcing anything. Anytime you're practicing yoga, if you're doing it the way I prefer doing it, and I think the way it was originally intended, it is a form of meditation. You're concentrating on breathing and what you're feeling in the moment. You're not being too extreme. You're trying not to compete with yourself. When I taught yoga, it was difficult for me to teach groups of people because I like to focus on one person at a time and make sure that they're not injuring themselves. Okay, now I'm going into a cobra. And again, I'm holding everything for 60 seconds. Each day that you practice yoga or any form of stretching, it's important to remember not to compete with yourself. I'm talking to myself very much right now, as much as I'm talking to you. Because you might be able to do something today, and then tomorrow your body just might not be able to go as far, or it might hurt. You need to listen to your body and work with what's happening at that moment. Okay, I'm going to come out of that. And I'm just rounding my back now into what in the 80s they called a cat stretch. And I'm releasing. Do that one more time. And release. And now I'm going to put my right leg straight behind me and bring my left knee up. And I'm just going to come down. Now what this is stretching is the top of my psoas muscle right here. So however you can get at that muscle. You can tilt your pelvis into this. This is a variation on the yoga position, the pigeon, which the pigeon is where you would come all the way down. You can do that as well. You feel that much more in the outer hip of the knee that's bent. But I'm looking to target my psoas muscle right now. And I find that this is a great way to do that. If you want to get a little deeper into that, you can bring your heel to your butt. Okay, and now I'm going to switch sides. Now I have scoliosis, so the way I can get at my psoas muscle on my left side requires that I put my right leg in a different position. It's because my hips are tilted in two ways. They sway back and they tilt to the right. It's nothing that most people can notice if you look at me, but I notice it when I exercise, and I've figured out how to work with it. I'm asymmetric, and I think many people are, and it's fine. You just work with what you have, with what your body is. And now I'm just bringing my right knee closer to my butt. Okay, and one of the last exercises, stretches that I do is I'm just bringing my, you can see me, so I'm sitting cross-legged right now, and now I'm bringing my right leg up. If it's comfortable, you can bring your right leg to the other side of your left knee. So now my outside of my right ankle is touching just above my left knee. My left heel is touching the outside of or actually the back of my butt on the right side. Bringing my arm around, and I'm just twisting to the back, to my own degree. And breathing into this. I'm going to do this for about 60 seconds. It took me literally decades to stop competing with myself. I would get frustrated that I could do something last month that I couldn't do today. And I'd force myself and I'd hurt myself. And I learned my lesson. So I'm giving you this advice so that you learn my lesson. Don't hurt yourself. Being where you are is, I mean, there's so much to think about and meditate about when you think that. Okay, now I'm crossing my right leg in front of my left leg, and I'm just very gently keeping my hips facing forward, and I'm turning very gently over towards my left leg just for a couple seconds. I'm feeling this again back on my outer oblique of my right side, and I'm just kind of touching the top of where my psoas muscle connects to my back here. Okay, now I'm going to do that on the other side. And where you feel this is in the outside of the hip that you're turning toward. And with every in-breath, you're thinking to yourself, I'm sending oxygen and energy and just relief and goodness to that area. And with the out-breath, you actually feel it start to melt and gently relax and release. Your head can be just in a neutral position. I know a lot of people like to say, turn and face the wall behind you. That hurts my neck, so I don't do that. And this is what I mean about teaching groups. When I tried to teach yoga in groups, I would have to worry about the people who weren't telling me that they were in pain because of something, because they were competing with each other and themselves and just trying to follow my instruction, which meant they had to move their head in a way that they could follow me, which is definitely not a good way to practice yoga. So I could not do that. Kudos to those who can. I just don't get it. I prefer to work one-on-one with people. Okay, now I'm just gonna move my mat out of the way for a second. I'm just gonna show you 2 quick standing exercises or stretches. One is the tree pose. And I don't hold these for 60 seconds. I hold these just for a short time. This is not necessarily yoga what I do here, but now I'm holding the heel of my right foot with my right hand, and just, I feel this on my inner thigh. And now I'm doing it to the other side. So if you're very attentive, you notice that I'm able to bend my right knee a little bit less comfortably in this position than my left knee. And that just happened over time. I've been practicing yoga for 15 years, and I'm just working with where I'm at. I'm not trying to get anywhere. I'm just trying to be aware and feel what I'm feeling. And a healing feeling. Okay, now I'm stretching my arms straight up to the ceiling, and I'm slightly stretching back. And now for arms, because of all of the exercises we often do, we're putting our hands like this, right? So one of the things I like to do is push your hand the other way. Your wrists never get a chance to relax, so you can just hold your wrist like this. And you could do this whenever. You could do this while you're watching TV, or while you're doing something that doesn't require your hands necessarily. Okay, and then if I stretch my arm this way. And the breath is very important in all of these. See, now I feel much more tight on my left side than I did on my right. That's just the way my body feels today. And you might experience similar feelings with either side of your body. Okay, and the ultimate stretch I like to do is I'm putting my right arm over my left arm at the elbows, and I'm just twisting. This is great stretch for your upper right shoulder. And back. And again, nothing too extreme. Okay, I'm going to take a deep inhale. And do that to the other side. Showing you. Okay, and the very last thing that I like to do is another psoas stretch. I'm just grabbing the top of grabbing the top up, and you can hold on to something. You don't have to try to balance right now. But I'm holding on to the top of my ankle on the right side and keeping my pelvis tucked, pulling my heel towards my buttocks. And I'm feeling that in my psoas muscle. Okay, and I'm going to do that to the other side. Tucking your pelvis, I talk about that a lot, really targets your psoas muscle. Now I'm in the camp of stretching after exercising. I do a very brief stretch, which you can also see on my page before I exercise, just to loosen me up a little bit. And the reason is simply that your body is not warm enough to do something like this before you exercise. So you can hurt yourself. And I know that there are people that don't agree with me, and that's fine. But I've been exercising for 35 years and have found that that's what works for me, so that's what I teach and recommend. Okay, and that is a short, fierce stretch that incorporates positions of yoga. I have many longer versions that I offer, but I just wanted to put something up here to show you, just give you a general sense of what a short, that this I consider short, and this is almost 21 minutes that this is going. This is what I consider short. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I would love to hear your comments and feedback, and if there's anything else specific that you want me to show you, please let me know and I will do it. All right, stay fierce. Bye-bye.